flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome here to the Texas Motor Speedway for round number 2 of the INvets ARCA series here on the Goat Locker Racing League. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me up here in the booth, as always, is Dean Biggles Hopton. Biggles, how you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing excellent, thank you. It's good to be back in Texas for the Texas Motor Speedway. Of course, in the chat there, hello to Ray and Shazza. Yes, it's not Jake. Jake's tomorrow night, I believe. It's tonight you have the lovely Robert Hill.
Yeah, Jake's tomorrow night. He'll be back. Don't worry. He's gonna bring all the energy tomorrow night to get you through that final hump before the weekend.
And how's that calendar, my friend? Of course, Talladega last week, Texas, and then you've got the rest of the speedways to go through. So you started the season off.
Yeah, quite the schedule here for the summer series. Obviously, like you said, Dega last week, Texas this week. Next week, we're going to go to Stafford, so we'll change it up just a little bit, go to somewhere a little bit shorter. Then we'll head down to the Auto Club Speedway, Chicagoland, The Rock, one of my favorites, Rockingham, Pocono there as well. I'll be at Pocono later this summer. That'll be fun. And we'll wrap it all up at Phoenix on July 31st. So a quick shot of summer action here with the Goat Locker Racing League.
Excellent. Of course, that's sponsored by...
Of course, this is brought to you by the fine folks at INvets. Goat Locker Racing has partnered with INvets to provide more resources and assistance to our nation's warriors. INvets is committed to helping our military transition out of service, of course, and they are connected to a lot of employers and offer employment services and so much more to all military members, spouses, and veterans. Go check them out and find out why you should come live and work in Indiana. Of course, Indiana, also the home of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the upcoming car show at Lincoln Tech, the Anything on Wheels 13th Annual Charity Car Show, Saturday, June 22nd, so a week from this upcoming weekend, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 7225 Winton Drive in Indianapolis. Goat Locker Racing has partnered with Lincoln Tech College of Technology, and on June 22nd, as mentioned, this year at the Indianapolis campus of Lincoln Tech, they'll be hosting the car show to benefit the Goat Locker Racing League. Stay tuned as this partnership continues to grow in the very near future.
That'd be fun. If I was anywhere near over there, I'd certainly go to attend it, my friend, but I think I'll be heading back to Australia around that point. But on top of that one, Robert, we're going to have cars heading around on their qualifying session at the moment, and there's only a few of the cars out on track at the moment. Let's see if we can follow one specifically, perhaps, or if they do start a hot lap there. And you can give us a bit of a hot lap guide on how you can manage to get your car around.
Yeah, just taking a look, and it does look like everyone kind of wrapping up their laps now. That's the 882 of Tyler Brown. Now we're going to hop on board with the 95 machine of Timothy Jones as he works his way through turns number 3 and 4. One of the big things here at Texas, you got to get down to the white line in the corners, work your way up, take that sweep and exit, come up on the exit of 4, carry as much speed as you possibly can. Jones up to 27th on lap number 1. He's going to try to carry as much speed as he possibly can down here into turns number 1 and 2. Again, getting down to that line, a bit of a diamond action as he's going to call it quits here on lap number 2. A bit of a bobble, and he's going to come to a slow as we jump to the 77 machine of Sam Milliken. He's going to come to the line, see what he can do on his second lap, see if there's any sort of improvement. And looks like he's going to stay at position number 12, maybe run an extra couple of laps, a little bit of free practice here at the tail end of this qualifying session as the checkered flag is displayed.
Yeah, it's got some fantastic new graphics that we're going to use here this evening. And of course, in order to do that, it's you have to go through cautions and all that sort of stuff. But first of all, we have to go through our race grid there, please.
Yes, sir. Loading up the starting grid here tonight, rolling off on the pole to 49 of Craig Bontnager alongside the 80 of Scott Formosa. Row number 2, the 3 of David Calvert alongside the 88 of Robert Barber. Great first name right there. Keith Haney in the 67 alongside Jake Ham in the 85 make up row number 3. Mike George in the 29 with Brandon Wallace in the 99 in row number 4. Jake Ellingson, fan favorite, in the 27, going to roll off 9th tonight alongside Timothy Wilms in the 86. Rounding out the top 10, George Jewell in the 36 and Sam Milliken in the 77 make up that 6th row. Jonathan Cofield in the 97 alongside Jason Kraft in the 38. They're going to start 13th and 14th tonight. Matt Knights in the 64 and Chris Smith in the 37 going to make up row number 8. Row 9 tonight, Dustin Harrell in the 16 alongside Zach Engel in the 47. Alan Marshall in the 82, and the 882 of Tyler Brown going to round out the top 20. Chase Jaggers 21st. Dustin Hardy in the 46 going to start 22nd. Cameron Wesenberg in the 32 alongside Michael McCarthy in the 9 car going to start 24th. 25th, Adam Wilson in the 1 alongside the 00 of John Anthony make up the 25th and 26th spots. 27th tonight, Timothy Jones in the 95 alongside Wesley Lynch in the 12. Row 15, Mikey Isaac in the 01 alongside Colton Lanford in the 31. Corey Bowman in the 50 alongside Mark Holyfield Sr. in the 76. 31st and 32nd with the final 3 cars in the field tonight. James Kaufman in the 25, Steve Bartlett in the 19, and rounding out the field in position number 35 is Patrick Dixon in the 28.
I'm not sure if Patrick's actually going to be loading on the grid at the moment. I see 34 of the other Gladiators uploaded out there. Thank you in the chat. We got a bit of a supporter for the 49 machine as well, as the usual suspects will be supporting their team, family members and so forth. And Ray was asking me if I could stay one more week. You know, I'm not 100% sure of the date that I'm departing yet, so I may be able to do that, Ray, for sure. And let's go Alan there from the Classic Cars out there. So, Craig on top of the timesheets, my friend. Good place to start a race, isn't it?
Absolutely a great spot to start is out front. It's going to be all about trying to stay up there, Biggles. That's the hardest part, as of course everyone going to be hungry behind. In this ARCA car, you're going to be able to carry a ton of speed around this Texas Motor Speedway, almost wide open in a handful of these corners. So going to be interesting to see how the high line comes into play, especially on the initial start. Someone like Scott Formosa, David Calvert up there as well. We'll see what they can do utilizing the high lane around this Texas Motor Speedway. And what'll also be interesting is how the track develops as we go along here tonight. When they put the rubber down on the racetrack, is the line going to move up a little bit? Are we going to venture up from the inside lane? As you see the track temperature here tonight, 78 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the ambient as well. So we are most definitely racing on the cooler side this evening. And the reference date for this one, May 15th, 2024. So we're looking about a month back for how the temperatures were at the Texas Motor Speedway. Pace cars off. We're getting set to go green this time. Craig Botranger and Scott Formosa going to be the control cars as we come to the green flag. Barney the flagman has that green flag waving, and we are underway here tonight. Round number 2 of the INvets ARCA series here in the Goat Locker Racing League. Clean start here so far. Botranger going to get out to the early lead. Formosa in that second spot under fire from David Calvert. You're already seeing a little bit of action, and you're seeing a caution flag as we got one around in the rear. Brandon Wallace involved in this one in the 99. He's going to come to a stop, and many others going to get involved as well. Holyfield, Bowman, Angle, Cofield, Kaufman, Isaac going to be in this one as well. So early issues here, Bagel, is going to put us under caution immediately. And I believe this one is all going to start around that Wallace machine.
Yes, we'll have a look currently at the moment of Brandon Wallace. And here it is. You're right on the money there, Mr. Robert. Have head back into the booth there so that we can actually go back and have a look at the replay of this one with Mr. Brandon Wallace. And perhaps we'll show you. We could probably talk us through this one. Cold tires, do you reckon? They haven't got past the start-finish line yet, have they?
They did get past the start finish line. This was midway down the back straightaway. Yeah, Wallace on the cold tires, trying to carry a little bit too much speed through the corner. The car comes unhooked for him, loses it down to the inside. And with this racetrack, just really nowhere to go. You're seeing a couple cars being able to snake through there, but also the 97, the 64, and others going to get collected. So some early calamity for these drivers. One fast repair is available to them tonight. That is basically a free backup car that they can come down and take. But you're going to try to be able to continue on without having to utilize that fast repair tonight. Get the car fixed up, get back out there, and continue on. Taking another look, you just see the car step out on Wallace. Nothing that anyone else really could have done. We'll ride on board with him here, and you can see goes into the corner, hooks the wheel back to the right, which is what he should do. to try to get back out of the way instead of spinning down into the field. Just the car was too far gone at that point. Caution number 1 out here in the INvets ARCA series here, presented by the Goat Locker Racing League. And looking out front continues to be Craig Botranger ahead of Scott Formosa, David Calvert, Robert Barber, and Keith Haney. So no real changes up through that first 7. The shuffles at the rear of the field were the guys involved in this one. A handful of them did come down pit road. Tyler Brown, Brandon Wallace, Chris Smith, Matt Knight, Zach Engel, and Cameron Wesenberg all making visits to pit road. As we took a look at Chris Smith there, here comes Brandon Wallace, going to get that machine repaired, and Wallace going to be assessed the end of line penalty for being at the cause of this first caution.
As they're going to make their way around past the pit road, caution lights are still on. We'll have a little bit of a quick break here. Don't you go anywhere. Thank you very much for all tuning in on both of our fantastic YouTube, and I believe it's also streaming currently at the moment on Facebook. See you all again very soon.
Starbase 1552 Comics. We sell everything a collector would want. Comics, Funkos, action figures, and so many more. A real American comic book shop. We are online only. Starbase 1552 Comics. Find us on eBay Auctions.
Are you ready?
For Murph's Magical Creations. Home to custom laser engraving and gifts. This veteran-owned and operated company engraves for all occasions. If you want one of Murph's magical creations, call the number on your screen or commission through either Instagram or via email. Murph's Magical Creations, made with love for you.
And we're back here at the Texas Motor Speedway. It's the Goat Locker Summer Series presented by INvets. Working caution number 1 involving Brandon Wallace here tonight. And we did get an update that verifies exactly what we thought happened out there. Cold tires, and the 99 of Wallace just got loose down there in turn number 1. And Jacob Ellingson giving us a little bit of a note there saying that the car likes to over-rotate between turns 1 and 2. And that is exactly what we saw right there. I believe lights should be off on the pace car this time. And I must say, I love the Texas Motor Speedway for the lights that they have around the racetrack. You will absolutely know when you're under caution because the whole track is lit up in yellow.
Yeah, I like that. And it lights all the way across. I think they should start doing that more on the tracks that you have in the ovals and stuff like that, because, you know, it adds that little glimmer and shine to it. It's kind of like that Formula 1 kind of glimmer and shine that they're starting to do more and more too. Let's make it entertaining. Well, it's also the actors that are on the stage that make it all entertaining, isn't it? AKA the drivers.
That's exactly it. And just a shout out here to a couple people over in the YouTube chat. Jeff Milliken joining us tonight. Andy Menchaca and Chuck Dickens there as well. Menchaca and Dickens cheering for Wesley Lynch tonight in the 12 machine. Currently sitting in that 16th spot, up 12 positions from the start of this one. So taking advantage of some pit stops and, well, not getting involved in the lap 1 incident. So slow gain here so far for Wesley Lynch. We'll see what he can do as this one goes on tonight. The lights, of course, are off in the iRacing.com pace car. Fred, the pace car driver, about to make that turn down to pit road and set the field into the hands of Botrager and Formosa on the front row once again this time. Pace car's off. Barney the flagman has the green flag in hand. It's the 49 of Craig Botrager on the inside as we have for the Geico restart zone. Green flags in the air. We're back underway.
Gavel already there, isn't it? 2 abreast as you see as the start of the forming up there. But Craig still has the lead, but maybe a bit of pressure there from Scott Formosa at the moment as he's looking up the outside. And don't forget who is sneaking through the middle here at the moment. Is that Robert Barber?
That is indeed the 88 of Robert Barber. He's going to get under the rear end of the 49 of Botrager up front. Up on the high side, Scott Formosa trying to hold on to that second spot. And one thing we got to be careful with as we're under caution once again, looks like it involves Cameron Weisenberg and Jason Kraft towards the rear of the field. We'll see what happened to bring out the latest caution there. I'm hoping that it wasn't another case of cold tires getting involved.
I think, unfortunately. Oh, no, they're too close, wouldn't they, there, Robert, to talk us through this one?
Oh, yeah, I just saw what happened. You're about to see it there. The 47 in the middle turning into a little bit of a pinball, going down, going up, or going up, going down, getting into the cars on either side, sending them around. That was the 47 of Zach Engel getting into both Cameron Weisenberg and Jason Kraft. Actually, might have been some contact from up above that turned that 47 into a little bit of a pinball, and that'll bring out caution number 2. So already some carnage here today. Losing a couple of cars early on, 2 cautions. Haven't really been able to get into any sort of rhythm yet. We're 10% of the way through this one already, which just shows how quickly we work our way around this racetrack. And you're seeing a couple more cars coming down pit road. That's Zach Engel, Dustin Harrell, Brandon Wallace, James Kaufman, and Matt Knights as well. Cameron Wesenberg also coming down pit road. These are a few of the cars that were involved in the latest incident, and some involved in that first one that are continuing to get some damage repaired. And that caution will actually be credited to the 64 of Matt Knights. So the 64 was the car on the high side, going to come down into the 47 and trigger that multi-car incident that we just saw right there.
And the pit crew get to be sitting around talking, my gentlemen. Get out there and start servicing your motor vehicle. Of course, that's just a little bit of a pun. I just wanted to let you know, but I wanted to ask you, actually, because I'm not a racing driver, but in your perspective as a racing driver and your cameras and stuff like that, you actually see the pit crew come out and change tires, don't you? Or not?
No.
No. Okay.
No, not really. You see, yeah, I guess I don't remember now, Biggles. You got me off guard here.
Maybe some in the chat will know about that one, because unfortunately for a spectator view up here, up in the booth, that's about the best we can actually get. We don't even see the lollipop person that comes out and tells you where your pit box is. Does that car look pretty dinged up there in the 64? Do you think he took any repairs?
Definitely dinged up, but I don't think he took his fast repair. I think he got some damage fixed on that. He'll continue to try to resolve the issues that he's having on that race car. Long way to go. So we'll kind of see how this one progresses throughout the night. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully we can get some long green flag runs in, because Texas really does offer some great racing. You can see just how wide this racetrack is in comparison to these cars, Biggles. And you can go 3, 4, maybe 5 wide. I wouldn't recommend going 5 wide, because eventually someone's going to make a mistake. But you could go 3 or 4 wide here, absolutely.
You can probably go 6 wide if you want. You can actually go 3 wide into the castle section on Baku, believe it or not, because it's 6 meters across. If anybody is familiar with Formula One, that castle's tight, twisty castle section, but it's barely get 2 cars through there. But distance wise, you can fit that, but strongly not recommended out there if you want to keep your car in one piece. Same with this track. But I think you're right. Well, we're talking about that in the green one, weren't we, Robert? Like, once you get good green flag underlay and they start spreading out the field a little bit like that, drivers get these temperatures into the tires, then you get some fantastic racing going on. So let's hope, cross our fingers, dot our T's and I's.
That's the main thing is when they can get separated just a little bit, not necessarily be fender to fender with each other, wheel to wheel throughout. We can separate the field, get the guys that are going to be running at the front up at the front, the guys that'll be in the midfield, and so on, and kind of get into a little bit of a rhythm, rather than having guys that maybe had a bad qualifying attempt having to rush their way up through the field and showing the aggression a little bit there. As the white was just shown to the field, we're going to go green this next time by. And it continues to be Bottrager up front. Robert Barber in that second spot. Scott Formosa and David Calvert make up row number 2. Keith Haney, Jake Ham, row 3. Jake Ellingson and Mike George in row number 4. Chase Jaggers and Sam Milliken going to round out the top 10. I see a Let's Go 12 over there in the YouTube chat. Lots of fans tonight for Wesley Lynch and that 12 machine. So kudos to all the supporters here tonight. thank you so much to all 30 of you currently joining us over on YouTube, and whoever else is joining us on Facebook. I don't have the count from there, but I'm sure it's a good one as well. And we want to thank you all for joining us here this evening.
Yeah, and at Nazareth Network, we love it. We engage with you. So please, you are an audience, and it's an audience participation show. If only somehow we can give like some sort of fan boost to some of the cars sometimes. Does it give me an extra little bit of horsepower there if they vote for certain drivers? Add a little bit of Alan. Well, I think they do that too in Formula E, don't they? Anyway, but that'd be fun. But we are an interactive series here at Nazareth. Barney's very interactive with those flags this evening, my friend. We get the more greens.
He's about to get that green flag waving here for the 49 of Craig Bottrager up front, and it does now. We're back underway. It's Bottrager and Barber up at the front of the field. We'll see if everyone else kind of settles out just a little bit. We're 2x2 throughout the top 10. Now a little bit of separation as a lot of cars going to jump down to that inside lane, side by side for the race league. Here comes Barber to the inside of Bottrager. Now side by side, Barber with the advantage into turn number 3. That 88 shot out of a cannon like a bit of a rocket ship. As guess what? We're under caution once again, and I believe Matt Knight's going to be involved in this one as well. Corey Bowman, Johnny Cofield involved in this one too. So early dramas here at Texas. We'll see if we can get a look at what just happened to bring out this one. Johnny Cofield going to be one of those involved. Oh, that just tightens up. So the 50 up on the high lane, that's Corey Bowman. He's going to get into the outside wall. Somebody looks to split the middle. Is that Mark Holyfield Sr.? Goes through the middle, not quite able to get there, makes contact with the 17 or with the 97 of Cofield down on the inside, shoots him up the racetrack. That'll bring up caution number 3 on lap number 11. So these guys definitely starting to feel the frustration up at the front of the field, because we were getting some great battles going amongst Barber, Bottrager, and Formosa up at the front of the field. But you can see it right there. As soon as Bowman gets into the outside wall, everyone else behind just, of course, has so much more pace, not necessarily able to clear with the space that they have available. And that brings out that third caution, Biggles.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if the 50, because the 50 was reacted to the 97 moving up, but it shouldn't. And then, yes. Tank slaps to the wall there. It's going to scrub a whole bunch of speed off there. And everybody's putting straight at the moment, but the problem is it may be more of a bounce because you're looking at slow motion. It's like a easy peasy, isn't it? But as you said, it's like a pinball machine sometimes, isn't it? We'll bounce you off the wall. And that's just a cold tire mistake again, I think. And definitely not intentional or any of that sort of jazz or beef, as Jacob would like to say. It's just, that's just motor racing, as we're going to see a few more drivers head back down to pit road again.
Yeah, one of the things with the outside wall there, Biggles, is eventually it will kick you back out, and that's exactly what we saw, unfortunately, leading to that caution. So Robert Barber and Craig, how is this said here from Nathan Fox? Bontrager. That sounds a lot easier and a lot better than how I was saying it earlier. There we go. Sounds good. Craig Bontrager. There we go. And
we got Dougie, of course, and wishing Dougie well. As Ray said, Dougie says hi from his hospital. We'll message you later. Thank you very much for that.
Hi, Dougie.
Yeah, I know Ray.
Welcome aboard.
Dougie's going to be back out there soon and back home, and we wish Dougie well. And of course, we're also wishing Jake well on the track, and Jake is currently in P8 at the moment there. But big players here doing a good job there. Let's look at John Anthony, my friend. He has gained 17 places currently through all that commotion. That's not a bad job there. You got Colton Lanford. He's gained 19. So they're probably your biggest gainers this evening. And they're inside the top 11, my friend, after those third caution.
Yeah, very easy to gain those spots when we do have a couple of cautions, but the wrecks have mostly been in that mid to back portion of the race field. So a handful of those spots were actually gained by passing under the brief green flag conditions that we've had here so far. And, Biggles, obviously the start of this one, not going the way we hoped, not going the way that the drivers or the league hoped either. But I have a feeling that once we get to the middle portion of this race, these guys are really going to be able to string together a long green flag run, maybe even mix in a green flag pit stop somewhere in there, and put on one heck of a good show here tonight. And of course, that's for all of you joining us here tonight over in the YouTube chat. Thank you, Nathan Fox, for the reassurance that I did say Bontrager right that time.
Robert's professional. He'll get it right. He won't make many mistakes. So hopefully these drivers won't continue to make too many mistakes. Exactly what Robert had said. Let's get some great... Barney's getting... His arm's getting sore, right? Think of poor Barney.
Let's hope he doesn't make a mistake and drop the flag. He's going to wave it, and we're back underway here. Robert Barber going to get out to the race league. Scott Formosa, Craig Bontrager going to battle it out for position number 2. Seeing some shuffling there. Jake Ellingson going to be side by side with Mike George for position number 7. Back there towards the tail end of the top 10, but Barber pulling away out at the front of the field. Now we're watching that battle between George and Ellingson. Nearly contact there. That's going to be George losing a couple spots. David Calvert down to the inside of him, as George going to fall back to that 7th spot. Now Ellingson up into position number 6. So Jake Ellingson, you mentioned him earlier, Biggles. He's on the move here so far tonight.
Yep. Oh, and unfortunately, does get another chance to go. That may be a caution at the back. I didn't see.
That's the 19 of Stephen Bartlett into the outside wall.
Let's see if we go back and have a look at Stevie.
Now, I don't know if he was the entire cause of the call. Oh, he got ran over.
All right, here we go. Back it up for a second there. Sometimes race control doesn't give me all that information. You get it a lot before I do.
That's the 882 of Tyler Brown going to get into that left rear of the Stephen Bartlett machine and send him up into the outside wall. I think it's just a difference of pace between those two drivers that sends Bartlett up there into the wall. But just unfortunate caution number 4 here already. Yeah, that was a pretty big shunt into the corner, sent Bartlett all the way up into the outside wall. Likely to have some decent damage on the race car, mostly in the rear end, but that can very heavily impact the handling of that car.
Now, who would you put cause to that one? Do you think Steve went too slow into the corner, or do you think the other driver went too fast?
Now, we'll see how race control rules this one, Biggles, but it's typically, unless Bartlett hits the brakes on entry, which some of the other drivers haven't been doing, I would say that's on the 882, just because he is the car coming into the situation, kind of has the opportunity maybe to check up a little bit, not get into the back of Bartlett. But we'll see if race control puts that on Tyler Brown or Stephen Bartlett in this particular incident.
So this is the 882. So who was the other driver we were looking at? We're just going to.
It was the 882 and the 19 of Bartlett that were involved in that one. Stephen Bartlett is on pit road alongside Timothy Wilms, Matt Knights, Cameron Wesenberg, Mark Holyfield, and James Kaufman. So a handful of those drivers are coming down pit road.
Let's have a look on board then, and have a look and see that with the revs and all that sort of jazz. You know, from a racing driver, I don't, but you can give me like a little bit of perspective here.
Yeah, you can see riding on board here with Tyler Brown. We'll see how this one progresses ahead of him. I almost wonder if the 19 had to check up for the car ahead of him, because it looked like they came together just about. The closing rate was a lot faster than what we'd seen with some of the other cars. So I think it might have been a case of having to check up for an incident ahead. And like I expected, Biggles, that one has just been ruled as the 882 of Tyler Brown at fault. So he was the car coming into the situation, would have had the opportunity to at least think about checking up a little bit and avoid getting into the wreck ahead. So unfortunate there for Tyler Brown and the 19 of Bartlett as well, as he's going to get involved in that incident. Lights are still on the iRacing.com pace
pretty
car.
lights you mentioned.
That's quite the look here. Of course, Eddie Gossage, the former promoter, unfortunately he passed away recently, was a big part of getting those lights involved and doing some great things here at Texas, even though a lot of people were very not pleased with the efforts that he had at this racetrack. Give him a lot of a lot of hate sometimes, but Eddie Gossage still did a lot for this speedway, and it's unfortunate that he passed away. He'll definitely be missed in the NASCAR world, and we'll see what kind of legacy can carry on here at the Texas Motor Speedway. And who knows, with the way NASCAR likes to change up some of these tracks, this could either be a short track or a super speedway within the next handful of years.
I tell you what else, I mean, apart from iRacing's got me way into NASCAR because I didn't really know jack about NASCAR because I'm open wheel Formula One background, stuff like that, right? Of course. And when I was asked to start broadcasting in this fantastic network and other networks, these series, I'm like, okay, but help me along, let me learn, and I am still learning, trust me. But I tell you what, it is really, really exciting. And after watching that Netflix series as well, too, it was even more exciting too, my friend. Like, I really, really enjoyed that. I'm sure if you've seen it or anybody else had seen that recently.
It's a cool series to be able to see the behind the scenes of stuff that goes on here. I've had the privilege of being involved in a lot of the behind the scenes stuff at NASCAR, at both the regional level and at the national level, involvement with media and radio and whatnot as well. So getting to see some of the stuff that goes on in the garage area, definitely a cool opportunity there. And check out the series over on Netflix. It's a really cool glimmer and glimpse into what's going on in the world of NASCAR. And of course, the Formula One Drive to Survive series, a great series as well. A little dramatized, but which series is not?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it's dramatized, and I can't remember exactly the driver, but remember they always trying to make a villain and a hero and all sorts of stuff too. Who was the villain again in NASCAR that they portrayed as the one that a lot of the drivers don't like, but he's very, very fast and quick?
I think it was Denny Hamlin, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. That's it.
Yeah.
It's
like the guy can go donate a kidney at the children's hospital, and they'll be like, "Oh, he hates kids."
Yeah.
Like,
and he shows the whole family and everything as well too. But it's racing drivers. You're always going to have your best friends off track, but sometimes when they're on track, a lot of curse words, and they get some fights brought out there, don't they, as well too in NASCAR?
Oh yeah.
Of recent late, so it's very interesting. But hopefully, there's only a little bit of beef on track here at the moment, my friend. Luckily, these drivers don't have to risk their lives.
I'd say there's probably going to be a lot more beef tomorrow when Jacob Reeves is back in the booth, but we're back on our way here at the Texas Motor Speedway. It's the INvets ARCA series in the Goat Locker Racing League. Great jump there by Robert Barber, Scott Formosa, and Craig Bontrager in those second and third spots. We're wrecking again down into turn number one. Big one.
I think that's right at the back of the field there. That could be Dustin and the likes.
Dustin Hardy was involved in that one. A handful of other cars in this as well. Mark Holyfield Sr. gonna get a piece. There was a good handful of cars in this one, Biggles.
Let's have a look, my friend.
Caution number 5 on lap number 21.
Oh, there it is. The 82.
Oh.
Yep, gets too early. Everybody has nowhere to go at this point. And
so that was up inside the top 20 then, because Alan Marshall is currently scored in that 18th position. Wow. You can see at the top right of your screen right there. It started around the Alan Marshall machine getting together with, I can't see the number on that car. There we go. Dustin Hardy and Alan Marshall going to come together. A couple cars in the outside wall. So got to wonder, maybe wheel spin coming into play at this point. I wouldn't think so, because they haven't actually, I think, done any green flag laps, but multiple cars getting involved. Somebody just decided, I'm going to stomp on the gas and turn my race car into a ramp, as multiple cars going to go up in the air there, but not a good start to this one. Jason Kraft, Johnny Cofield, Mark Holyfield Sr., Dustin Hardy among those involved. Alan Marshall, Chris Smith going to get involved in that one as well in the 37. That was one of the cars that we saw in the outside wall. That's the gray car with the yellow numbers in the center of your screen there.
Who was the one that stomped on the gas? So I can really quick show that one, because sometimes that's a good idea, right? And we'll talk about that in a second, because I know you survived a huge wreck on Monday night.
I did. That's Alan Marshall. That's right. Kind of the center of the incident right there, but not sure who just snuck through that one, turning into a ramp. But unfortunately for Hardy, he's going to go up in the air, and that's probably going to cause him a fair bit of damage. Just kind of looking through, seeing everyone that's coming down pit road. I'm not sure who the car was that was the ramp there. I think it might have been Chris Smith in the 37.
Was it Dustin Hardy? Let's just get that.
No, Hardy went up in the air. So
The 37, Chris Smith, perhaps.
He was definitely involved in that one, but either way, that was a pretty big incident right there. And
now I wanted
here's
to...
a little note quickly by a Classy Car over in the YouTube channel. Since y'all are talking about NASCAR, Marshall used to haul for NASCAR. And he said he's a big fan of the one machine themed like Steve Park. Steve Park, if you don't know, Biggles used to drive for Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. He drove the #1 Pennzoil machine back in the day, was teammates to Dale Earnhardt Jr., who drove the 8 car, and Michael Waltrip, who was driving the #15 Napa machine at the time. That was back when, unfortunately, Dale Sr. passed away.
And everybody talks about Dale Jr., like Dale, all right? Would he have to say the greatest NASCAR driver of all time is, if he had a list of the greats? Dale Earnhardt gets always at the top of the list. I always think, right?
You look at the list, right, of drivers that are multi-time champions. You got Richard Petty, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt. Then you have guys like Jeff Gordon that's up there as well, Tony Stewart, and there's even guys that didn't win titles like Mark Martin that was definitely one of the best of all time, and going back, David Pearson, drivers such as that back in the day. So I think it's really tough to say who was the greatest of all time, but I'm going to leave that up to the YouTube chat. Who do you think is the greatest NASCAR driver of all time? Obviously, like I said, you got guys like Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, Jimmy Johnson that are always going to be at the center of that topic, but who do you think? Heck, you could even come in here and say Paul Menard for all I care. That was my favorite driver until he retired, and he only ever won one race.
Well, that's a good thing about leaving it to the YouTube chat, because it's the same thing in any motorsport series. Like they talk Formula One, like who's the greatest. People go back to Fangio. People go back to Michael Schumacher. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton, all that sort of stuff. Same thing. And we get ready to go green again. Yeah, hopefully for a little longer. Come on, gentlemen, we've got 24 laps done, and practically most of those have been under caution. So we want to see some racing, gentlemen.
Yeah, we're seeing a couple votes there for Dale Earnhardt. Green flags in the air. We're back underway. Robert Barber, Scott Formosa on the inside lane with a great launch out front. Craig Bontrager in that third spot. Jake Ham going to move up into position number 4 ahead of Keith Haney. Looks like we're going to single file out at least through the top 7. John Anthony, David Calvert, as we got one sideways on the back straightaway. Wow, Calvert able to catch on to that one and continue under green flag conditions. Everyone trying to get around that machine. He is falling like a rock. Was up inside the top 10 as the one of Wilson. Going to get sideways down on the apron at the rear as well. He's going to be able to catch on to that machine and continue on. So that was an eventful lap. First lap from the restart, but we have been able to stay green here and maybe piece together a couple of laps. We're seeing Jake Ellingson and Mike George back under battle here. We had them together earlier on just before a caution came out to slow the field. Keith Haney in that fight as well. Of course, Haney, one of those drivers that's regular with the Goat Locker Racing League, and we've seen some great drives out of him. One of those underdogs that we don't necessarily always get to talk about as leading these races, but currently finds himself in position number 5.
Yes, exactly. And so it is good. We're going to go good ring and
battle for the lead, Biggle.
I think it's exactly what you said as well. So let's go back to look at the battle for the lead. Drivers are also doing an amazing job back there avoiding those incidents, and that itself should get credit rather than just highlighting them and being in incidents. Let's go racing there, Robert.
Yeah, great battle up front. Scott Formosa and Robert Barber side by side. Craig Bontrager going to get up into that battle as well. It's going to be a 3-car dance for the top position, riding on board with the 49 of Bontrager. He's down on the inside, currently looking just behind the Scott Formosa machine. Formosa has a little bit of an advantage over that 88 of Robert Barber. Barber up on the high side, nearly contact there for the race lead, but let's keep it clean, let's keep it green, and this battle's starting to look mean up at the front here between Barber and Formosa. And don't count out Bontrager. If he gets an opportunity to maybe go 3 wide on these guys, I definitely would not count that possibility out. And just a quick here note from Classy Car, he said not to mention like some of the people that had a massive losing streak, like JD McDuffie, formerly driving the 70 machine back in the day, with I can't remember how many races he lost. and unfortunately did lose his life at the Watkins Glen Raceway back in the day. So unfortunately, another life lost on the racetrack, but one of those greats of the sport that doesn't necessarily get talked about enough.
What is great now is that sports become a lot more safer. Of course, the cars are going faster and quicker and things like that. Sometimes it will slow them down. But it is safer, and thankfully, one thing, you're very, very safe in the world of iRacing. That's the great thing about it, and that's why it's become more and more popular, of course, at home. And you know as well, too, my friend, that you can jump into a racing rig when you're a young age these days and actually jump into a real racing car in the future there, as Robert was doing his rhymes, and we have a wreck the back.
Wrecking off for Timothy Jones, Dustin Harrell involved. They both spun down to pit road, actually, there, Biggles. So luckily able to continue on. Robert Barber going to edge out to the top spot. Scott Formosa, Craig Bontrager side by side for second. Like you said, iRacing definitely a lot safer than the real world. You can still get hurt if you get your hand caught in your wheel as you go for a wreck. I've done that before. That's just me being dumb. But you can get involved with iRacing from the age of 13. Some kids get involved earlier, and you could go wheel to wheel with the likes of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kyle Larson, Shane Van Gisbergen, Max Verstappen, a noted iRacer who won a big iRacing race and a Formula One race within a matter of just a few hours. Ooh. But this battle for second turning into a four-car dance now. Formosa, Bontrager, Jake Ellingson up into fourth, now looking for third. And Mike George up there as well in that fifth spot. These drivers all together, slicing, dicing, and nearly chopping each other up out there on the racetrack.
And look at the inside there.
Very
is
wide.
That Craig coming through there while I was at that camera angle? My apologies. Yes, it is. Craig snuck on by on the inside. Apologies about that one, Craig, because we're on board currently at the moment with Jake. Seizing the opportunity at the inside and saying, remember me? I was in the lead of this race at the start of the
That's Mike George. You're going to take advantage of that inside lane. Bontrager up on the high side. Jake Ellingson there as well. Timothy Jones rejoining the field from that latest incident, by the way, as we are keeping it clean and green for the time being, which is very nice to see. Bontrager and Ellingson side by side. Here comes Keith Haney up into that picture as well. These guys absolutely doing a nice job inside the top 10, really battling it out for position. I know we have a lot of Wesley Lynch fans out here tonight. He currently resides in the 19th position, and the caution flag resides out on the racetrack once again. And I'm not actually sure who was involved in this one, Biggles. I don't have any note of any drivers.
Neither do I, but I know you're very, very good there, Robert, of finding that information out, as I don't have anything at all, my friend. But as I think something we mentioned, oh, that's right, my mouse was flashing. Remember we talked about that in the green room earlier? It's like,
yeah,
you get a fancy mouse, it starts flashing, of course. But we have the graphics on the screen anyway. And let's have a look if we can find out, of course, in the replay. It's not a caution break, I don't believe, my friend.
No, this one came out from iRacing.
Oh.
I don't have anything.
Jake?
The field coming to a... No, Jake just slowed down because they're waiting for the pace car to come around so they can come down pit road. Pace car took its sweet time getting around there.
Anybody in the chat, let us know, please. I'm pretty sure there's some spotters and everybody following everything they can at the moment there. But looking back at the replay, everybody's heading back into pit road currently at the moment anyway during this caution.
The only thing I can think of is Dustin Harrell disappeared. And it looks like he's left the server. So I'm wondering if maybe he had a moment on the racetrack, hit the Alt F4 button, and just exited from the server naturally, because that's the only thing I can really think of. We'll see what race control shows here in just a couple of moments, but under caution once again, most of the field coming down pit road. Jake Ham, Cameron Wesenberg, Dustin Hardy, Mark Holyfield Sr., Corey Bowman going to stay out onto the racetrack. So the top five going to remain out. Robert Barber, Scott Formosa, and Mike George going to be the top three off of pit road, currently residing 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Jake Ham's the only one currently in this entire race who hasn't gone on a pit road. Now, we may be on lap 36 of 80, but you also have to remember he hasn't had to turn and burn all the gasoline in the tires, because most of these races, remember, currently at the moment, unfortunately, in the sixth caution, have been under, cautions, right?
Realistically, he's got about 13, 14 laps on those tires. Everything else has been pacing. The only run that we've really had was the one leading up to this caution. So those tires might hurt him a little bit a couple laps into this. We'll also see what kind of grip he has on the restart, but I don't think he's really too far off. We're seeing Holyfield and Lanford coming down pit road here on the second time by, so maybe just trying to avoid the bulk of the field going down pit road to bring out any sort of issues on pit road. But it's Ham and Wesenberg out front as we continue to pace here on caution number 6, I believe, of the day. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is caution 6. What's surprising at the moment, then, this man, Cameron, the 32 machine, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, then the telemetry information I'm having, he's been in pit road 5 times this evening for the 32 machine, or am I just all completely wrong on my telemetry?
No, you're correct on that. He was involved in an earlier incident here tonight, Biggle. So came down pit road a couple of times to get himself fixed up. Seems to have that car back where he wants it. Otherwise, I don't think he would have stayed out. But now with those two coming down pit road that we just saw there in Lanford and Holyfield, that's going to move the leader Robert Barber up into the 4th spot. So he's going to be outside of row number 2. If he can get himself a good restart, I would expect maybe 3 wide, almost right from the drop of the green flag.
You called it. And he has the freshest boots in town on lap 35. I'll see if I can show you those tires just very quickly up on the right-hand side. Well, I need to fix this graphic a little bit so it doesn't really show. You can see, yeah, lap 35 is when he boxed. Okay, so that's the stick length on those tires. Well, here's the lap. So that'll give
yeah, so he's fresh off of pit road. Yeah. Just came off of that pit road there as lights are off on the iRacing.com pace car. We're going to get set to go green once again next time by, and we are quickly approaching the halfway point in this one. It's Jake Ham and Cameron Wesenberg out front. Dustin Hardy, Robert Barber, row number 2. And we just saw Hardy involved in an incident, I believe, in caution number 5, where he ended up going in the air. So hopefully he ended up getting a fast repair on that machine. Otherwise, that 3rd spot may be a bit questionable on this upcoming restart. And Mike Browning chiming in over on the YouTube chat says, Ham's got those Scott Dixon skills. So we'll see about that.
Well, I think Dustin Hardy has those Michael Jordan skills, right? So, you know, Michael Jordan was a big fan behind sponsoring NASCAR. So, let's see if you can go flying, my friend. Dustin Hardy? Or, as you meant with Mike, Scott Dixon skills. This is lovely. You gotta throw the kiwi on the barbecue. You're gonna be Scott Dixon. Ooh, don't tell Scott Dixon I said that. Anyway.
I'm going to give him a call right now.
Don't you dare. Let's,
I think the only actual IndyCar driver's number I have is Tony Kanaan, so I'll call him and get him to call Dixon for me. But pace car's off. We're getting set to go green this time. Jake Ham, Cameron Wesenberg on the front row. Barney, the flag man, has the green flag in hand. It's waving once again, and we are back underway. Hardy a little bit slow on the restart, going to lose a handful of positions right from the drop of the green flag. Barber in that 3rd spot now. A bit of contact for the 4th position. Mike George getting into the back of Dustin Hardy. Now Barber to the inside of Wesenberg. Wesenberg going to drop down to position number 3 as Barber has his sights set on Jake Ham, the leader currently out front using his Scott Dixon skills. As Formosa going to get involved. Hardy going to go around. Caution going to wave once again. Oh, that's a huge one.
That's Hardy. It's unfortunately, again, it is massive. And you survived this one the other day. So make sure you go out and check out the the Electric Series right on Monday night there, and there was a replay. I remember you even come into the chat room and called it out and said, "Look at me, I survived." Unfortunately,
I just remember being in the team communication channel with Bo Tiffany and Tyler Goodwin and telling them, oh my gosh, I just made it through. And I was absolutely shaken. Let's watch this one. Dustin Hardy absolutely did not make it through. Saw Adam Wilson in the 1 take a huge hit there as well. That's just a difference in pace right there leading to that one. When multiple cars going to come together and unfortunately bring another caution out onto the race field. You're just going to see cars stack into this one. It continues behind, and it's going to even continue further. You see the 37 involved, the 1. That's the 12 up on the high side.
They keep smacking
down there. Oh yeah,
Damn, it's
it
ready, bro.
absolutely. Yeah, look at that. Like that's 10 minutes later, and we're still sending cars to the moon. It was absolutely nutty down. Look at this. They're all trying to get it spun back around, just nowhere to go, and unfortunately, carnage continuing. And we see a handful of cars on pit road: John Anthony, Jake Ham, Matt Knights, Chase Jaggers, Scott Formosa, Chris Smith, Timothy Wilms, James Kaufman. Adam Wilson not gonna pit. That surprises me a little bit. I think he'll come back down because he got quite a bit of damage there in that incident. Biggles, you have a fan over in the YouTube chat.
I do. Thank you very much. I wanted to try to do my best, like Kennedy impersonation. It's like, I guarantee. I was like, well, lap 40. Lap 40. I really did rehearse this one, but lap 40, I guarantee you, we will have a car and we will send it to the moon. Lap 40. No, I can't do that. But if somebody I knew could do that perfectly. But you just mentioned the moon, my friend, and I had to keep going there.
Great advice from Shasta over in the YouTube chat saying brakes. Yes, brakes are very good. Let's use those brakes to slow down and not run into the rest of the field and get involved in the big one. I think a lot of the carnage from that incident, Biggles, absolutely could have been avoided just by utilizing a little bit of brakes.
You lift, not braking. And speaking of brakes, we'll come back in a minute after this short
Yeah, let's
commercial
take a break. And you just heard from our friends over there at Premier Racing Setups. Head over to the Premier Racing Setups website. Use coupon code NASRA. That's NASRA. Get 15% off your order. And that 15% also comes back right into the NASRA Racing League and, of course, the NASRA 360 Racing Network. Those are the setups that I use, as well as fan favorite redneck announcer Jacob Reeves. We're both house drivers for Premier Racing Setups. So check them out. And you too could run at the front of the field and maybe teach me how to run at the front of the field, because I don't do it very often. The setups are definitely worthy of it, just not the driver. As we continue to pace here, working our way towards the restart that's going to come on lap number 44. Robert Barber, Cameron Wesenberg, Jake Ellingson, Craig Bontrager, Mike George. That's the top five. Keith Haney, George Jewell doing a great job in seventh. Mickey Isaac into the 8th spot, up 21 positions. Zach Engel and Sam Milliken round out the top 10.
Do you reckon that could help me? As a
Maybe.
first-time driver on a keyboard and mouse? No, of course, I would never try anything crazy like that. But
On a keyboard and mouse, maybe not.
But remember, too, this Goat Locker Racing is also looking... This is a summer series, but if you want to participate, my friend, there is another series coming up after this one. Barney again, where's the flag?
Yeah, Barney the flag man waving that green flag once again. Just cleaned up caution number 7, just past the halfway point. We're watching side by side for the 3rd position. It's Craig Bontrager and Jake Ellingson. That's Ellingson up top. Bontrager on the inside. They're quickly catching up to Cameron Wesenberg. Of course, Wesenberg stayed out under the previous caution, so he is on older tires here tonight. That's going to benefit Jake Ellingson as he moves up to that second spot. Wesenberg going to fall back. Bontrager also stumbled a little bit in his climb forward, wasn't quite able to move his way up there. Mike George, Keith Haney there as well, trying to work their way up towards the front of the field. We had one through the grass not too long ago. They were able to gather it back up. Bit of a scuffle towards the tail of the top 10 as we have Wallace and Milliken together here. Lanford in that fight as well. Colton Lanford, of course, one of the late pitters under this last sequence, so he's already up just outside the top 10, showing what he can do with a fairly new set of tires. These guys all over the place trying to work their way forward. Also watching a battle inside the top 10, David Calvert, George Jewell, and Mickey Isaac. It's Isaac and Jewell going to be side by side down the back straightaway. That's for positions number 7 and 8 out on the racing surface, but out front, Barber still pulling away from Jake Ellingson, so not too much to take a look at up there as of yet, as Jewell and Isaac continue to go side by side. I believe that was Calvert into the outside wall, still in the outside wall. He releases from the wall and there's contact. Milliken, actually no, that's going to be Brandon Wallace up into the outside wall. This is the second time that Wallace has been hit here from a car releasing from the wall. So unfortunately there for Brandon Wallace. We had an ask there, or a question in the YouTube chat asking how many caution laps. I don't have the exact number, but I would say we're somewhere in the window of probably 32, 33
laps
here at this point.
Yeah, sorry, laps. Oh, that's getting spicy and dicey. I wouldn't stick your nose in there at the moment unless you go to see your favorite plastic surgeon, because you're going to get it chopped off, number 3 machine, and that's Davey. And, well, it's spicy and dicey. We're talking about spicy and dicey at the moment, my friend, back here in the P10 position, because there is action up the road there, and we'll go back on that because George Jewell's big. But this is the hot side, my friend. This is where,
Absolutely.
if anything, I don't want to actually spot a wreck. But then again, we're not going to get any casting person here this evening. Yeah, so not going to happen. Not on my
We're
watch.
watching Michael McCarthy, Jake Camp, David Calvert, and Colton Lanford. That's the 4-car battle here for positions 10, 11, 12, and 13. Put a blanket over 10th, 11th, and 12th, though, in McCarthy, Ham, and Calvert a little bit further up. Now it's a 3-car battle between Mike George, Mickey Isaac, and George Jewell. That is for positions 5, 6, and 7. As we ride on board, I believe that is with George Jewell up on the high side. Now he's going to get into the center of that. We're going to go 3 cars deep down on the inside. Chris Smith just took to pit road, by the way, just outside of that top 25. So issues continuing for him here tonight as we're side by side. It's George Jewell and Mike George going to duke it out for position once again.
Oh, I can hear at the moment there. I can hear his wife screaming out there.
Shaster's probably going nutty in the YouTube chat right now.
Yeah, I can barely hear ourselves up in the booth at the moment because if she's in the audience, she's going ballistic at the moment. I'll tell you what, there's further action at the moment because you've got Keith Hanley at the moment going, if the Hanley family is screaming out there, they're screaming his way past Craig, who's dropped 3 positions, 49 machine. Yeah, P4.
Yeah, Keith Haney up to position number 3. Craig Bontrager going to fall back into that 4th spot. Mickey Isaac is one to watch here. I don't know if he necessarily has something for that top 3 right now, but up 24 positions on the day, currently sitting in that 5th spot. So great gains by Isaac, keeping that car clean, keeping it where he needs to gain those positions. See the U.S. flag up there on the deck lid of that car. Wow, that was tight right there. Nearly contact with George Jewell, and that's another one to watch. Of course, Jewell hasn't gained the 24 positions that Isaac has, but that's because he hasn't needed to. He's been up here inside the top 5, top 6 here for most of the race so far. Now trying to gain another spot and going to try to chase down Craig Bontrager if he's able to clear Mickey Isaac, as they are side by side for position. That battle we have between Haney and Bontrager has absolutely dissipated. Now Haney pulling away from Bontrager. Ellingson is closing the gap on Robert Barber. I would say we're still a couple laps away from a battle for the lead. So this battle between Jewell, Isaac, and eventually George and Milliken is going to be one to watch here. You're watching the battle as well between Michael McCarthy, Cameron Wesenberg, and Jake Ham, as Ham going up to the top shelf.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, always come back down. Oh, that's... Whoa, he's all over the place. Mr. Ham, you've got this machine completely under control. Go ahead.
Ray Ellingson dropping a bit of news here.
Oh.
George and Shasta are now grandparents to a baby girl.
Oh.
Congratulations to the Jewels. That's awesome.
Yes, congratulations. Said, oh, we might have a little bit. We have action at the moment here at the back there. Oh, I don't like it when they go nose to tail, because that's going to be a turn. And believe it or not, as you know, in iRacing, my friend, it's a turn either side. So you can be turned yourself at the back of the car. If you're at the wrong place, you could be turned, of course, if you're in the front position. But you're talking about battles at the front of the hill here. Jake's on a rampage here. Look at this.
Here we go.
He's challenging for the lead.
Ellingson to the inside of Barber for the top spot. And Ellingson takes it right as the caution comes out for John Anthony getting involved in that one in the 0-0. I think Ellingson did have the advantage at the time of the caution, but we'll see what the scoring loop has to say. It could put Barber back in front of Ellingson once they catch up to the pace car. I don't think it will, though, because Ellingson's staying out ahead of the field. John Anthony going to be involved in this one. We'll see what happened to him. And no, it was actually up ahead of him. It was the 3 car that was going to get into the outside wall. That's David Calvert.
Oh, there it is.
So I wonder what happened to David Calvert to bring out this one. I'll take another look and see what happened.
I'll have a look, my friend, because that's a hard impact as well, too. It's just busted practically everything. Oh, this is a 3 abreast situation, and 3 into 1. We'll find out, won't we, right now? Look.
Yeah, Zach Angle, Cameron Wesenberg going to be involved in this one as well. You just see the 32 slide up the racetrack into the side of the 3 of Calvert. That's going to send him into the outside wall. Bit of contact once again. Tail slapper and just nowhere to go for John Anthony, and he's going to get collected in that one. Rather big impact with the outside wall, and looks like everyone going to come down pit road. Ellingson, Barber, Haney, Bontrager, Jewel, and everybody is taking that turn to pit road. We'll see if anyone opts to stay out onto the racetrack. I don't think they will. And actually, yes, one does stay out. Scott Formosa going to remain out on the racetrack. He last pit Biggles on lap number 42. So he's got about 18 laps on those tires. Mix in the cautions. That's probably about 10 laps on the tires so far. It'll be Formosa and Jaggers going to stay out on the track. Chase Jaggers pit on lap number 40. So pretty much the same difference there from Formosa and Jaggers. Mickey Isaac going to win the race off of pit road. Wow. The driver that's gained so many spots here today just won the battle off of pit lane ahead of Jake Ellingson and Robert Barber. So Isaac going to start on the inside of row number 2 unless Formosa or Jaggers pits here. But I got to wonder, was that a 2-tire stop, or was it potentially just a fuel up to make it to the end kind of stop? I'm not sure. But Mickey Isaac throwing some strategy out here tonight.
Yeah, we need somebody down the pit road at the moment there who's got the stopwatch and counted that one, because he got ahead of Jake went in first, but Mickey, of course, got the job done, and that's he's got 0-1 on his machine, and he's from Kentucky. He's going to give you a little bit of Kentucky loving around here of the racetrack. Fantastic racetrack, of course, here at Texas, and you got Robert there, you got Keith, you got Craig. That all went pole shape when I was trying to bring some sort of like nice little pun in there. Oh, but
Biggles,
they're going.
Isaac just pit.
He did, yes.
I think Mickey Isaac might have actually just missed his box.
Oh no!
In the pit sequence, so he's gonna have to come from the rear of the field. Absolute catastrophe for Mickey Isaac, who had gained so many spots here today. Now gonna fall all the way to the rear of the field, already outside the top 20. Most likely gonna restart about 25th or 26th on the racetrack. So just so unfortunate there for Mickey Isaac.
Have you done that before? That's interesting, because it's very hard for us to. So, I mean, obviously everybody's going at once, right? And so there's cars everywhere. You're trying to spot your lollipop person, right? That's the one that holds out to say, hey,
I actually did that Monday, Biggles.
You did, really? Okay, I didn't know
I did it Monday under a green flag pit stop. We pit with the rest of the guys ahead of us. I still had a handful of laps to go on fuel, but I drove right past my box, and I waited for everyone else, so I stopped in somebody else's box at the end of pit road, waited for the rest of the guys to come out, tacked onto them, and luckily a caution came out. What Mickey Isaac is doing here is probably going to cost him more than it did cost me on Monday at Daytona, because you're actually going to need to work your way up through the field rather than just hammer the gas and go with whatever lane has the momentum, which is what we do at Daytona, unlike here at Texas. So really unfortunate for Isaac. You're going to start about 25th or 26th after what could have been a second row restart. Now that second row belonging to Jake Ellingson and Robert Barber. And I quickly want to touch again on the Jewel grandbaby. If you haven't named it yet, maybe consider calling it Biggles.
No.
That'd be a cool name. No? Okay.
Maybe here's George Jewell at the moment there, so...
It's a baby girl, so maybe Georgia?
I'd say it's a princess if she's going to be wearing jewels. Right?
Yeah.
Some sort of like, royalty name might work, but hey, if you ever seen Seinfeld, I think it's George that says, "Name your baby Soda," and that was the one he was trying to push, like soda, I think it was. Anyway, I was like, it's a strange.
I'm just gonna roll in and call my kid Coca-Cola.
No, just soda. Like
just soda.
There was one of the episodes about that anyway, but I don't know. Obviously, it's up to everybody else. Of course, then congratulations. That's huge.
Absolutely, that's awesome. Oh, Avery, that's a great name. I love that name.
Yeah, that is. I like that for sure.
Oh, what do we got going on in the back?
So yeah, the little bit of
we crashed.
Commotion. There is commotion at the back. You mentioned it, my friend, but we still have the pace car lights off, so I have to keep with this action. But damn.
Yeah, Dustin Hardy gonna get involved with Brandon Wallace, Johnny Cofield, and Stephen Bartlett. So a 4-car wreck under caution as the lights are off on the pace car. The pace car now down pit road, and we're gonna go green with 20 laps to go. The outside lane absolutely stacks up behind Chase Jaggers. He's gonna fall all the way back to the 5th spot before they even clear the start finish line. So Formosa, Ellingson, and Haney gonna clear up to those top 3 spots. Bit of commotion outside the top 10. Is everyone getting together? Robert Barber gonna go around. Oh no! Oh, he's almost up and over. He was in the air right there, Biggles. Kaufman, Wilson, Holyfield Sr., and Barber all gonna get involved in that one, among others. But Robert Barber going to be the biggest loser in that incident, as this will take us to probably about 15 or 14 laps to go when we go green once again. We'll take a look and see what in the world just happened to Robert Barber.
Knife caution too.
Oh, no.
Explain this one, my dear racing friend. Oh, no, he's lost it on his own, hasn't he?
This is exactly what happened in caution number 1. The car just goes around. You're about to see what is a very painful incident for Robert Barber, as somebody going to come around and get right into him. Tried to move out of the way. That's the 25 of James Kaufman. Just nowhere to go. There was a car on his inside. Gets into Robert Barber, and then Barber gets hit again while he's in the air, and that's going to spin him like a top. So Kaufman going to be given an EOL. Mark Holyfield given an EOL penalty. So multiple cars going to pick up some fault in this one.
Robert,
but right on board here with Barber.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, Robert did the right thing because he stopped it like on a dime. And that's what you do in motor racing, regardless if it's open wheel or track. You got to be predictable, right? We're going to play at full speed. And so if you're riding on board at the moment, don't get too dizzy. But he did the right thing. He said, oops, made a mistake. Stop. It makes you predictable. And then, of course, at this speed, there's nowhere for somebody else drivers.
He almost barrel rolled down the back straightaway. If he would have been hit one more time, he would have gone.
Pointing in the right direction at this point.
That's the 76 of Holyfield there. It was sideways as well. But Biggles, you made a great point. If you spin out, if you get wrecked, whatever the situation might be, hold the brakes, make it predictable, and give the drivers an opportunity to choose. Am I going to go high? Am I going to go low? Not going to drive into him, which is not what the 25 of Kaufman intended to do there. We even saw it from his onboard. He tried to go left. Unfortunately, there was a car there. Nothing he really could have done. He hit the brakes to try to avoid it as well. Adam Wilson was involved in that. Oh my gosh, that looks even worse looking from the rear end of the Adam Wilson machine.
Yeah, but they, once again, like, That, I mean, at full, we slow it down to, quarter speeds and stuff like that. It's like, oh, it's easy, right? Just turn left, turn right. But at that speed, I'm sorry, nothing you could do. But nothing, of course, the driver could do that was involved in the incidents. And I've seen it before in open wheel racing and stuff like that too, my friend. When drivers back up or move back onto the racing line, you're causing a crash and you're wrecking somebody else's race. And, Robert didn't do that. He made a mistake. He stopped it as much as he could on a dime, and then you sit there and basically just take your wheels up, take your hand up the steering wheel and go, please don't hit me, please don't hit me, please don't hit me. But unfortunately he didn't.
Well, and that's absolutely crucial, especially if you're using a direct drive wheel, Biggles, which is one of the stronger wheels that you can utilize on iRacing. You want to take your hands off that wheel if you're going to spin into the inside wall. My incident on Monday night, where it was a full-on impact with the inside wall, that would be one where you take your hands off the wheel to avoid it snapping and potentially breaking your wrists. That's something that can still happen on the iRacing simulator because some of those wheels are very, very strong. But just to re-rack and restack the field here, tell you the running order of the top 10. You can see it on the ticker there as well. Scott Formosa is the leader ahead of Jake Ellingson, Keith Haney, and George Jewell making up row number 2. Mike George and Chase Jaggers in row 3. But Jaggers on very old tires did not have a good restart last time by. Lost about 5 spots on the drop of the green flag. Craig Bontrager and Sam Milliken making up row number 4. Jake Ham and Colton Lanford are going to be the top 10. And just outside the top 10, a couple of guys we haven't mentioned a ton tonight. Fan favorite Wesley Lynch in 11th. Zach Angle up 6 spots. A couple others that have gained some spots back there. The 882 of Tyler Brown, rebounding from earlier incidents, and a couple others trying to work their way back to the front. Robert Barber, we just saw in that latest incident, he is currently scored in position number 22 with Mickey Isaac, the driver that had been the biggest gainer so far, just behind him in that 23rd spot.
One more lap, my friend, and I think we're going to get the pace car lights off. Just a quick reminder, of course, reminder, my friend, I was looking for.
There we go.
There it is. And of course, what is our fantastic sponsor, of course, for the Goat Locker Racing Series?
Yeah, Goat Locker Racing has partnered with INvets this season to provide more resources and assistance to our nation's warriors. INvets is committed to helping our military transition out of service. They are connected to a lot of employers and offer employment services and so much more to all military members, spouses, and veterans. Be sure to go check them out and find out why you should come live and work in Indiana. And speaking of Indiana, Biggles.
Yes, sir. Real quickly, we got the Indiana coming up, my friend.
There we go. Goat Locker Racing has partnered with Lincoln Tech College of Technology on June 22nd. So next Saturday this year at the Indianapolis campus, Lincoln Tech is hosting a car show to benefit Goat Locker Racing. Stay tuned as this partnership continues to grow in the very near future. That's June 22nd, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Indianapolis campus. As the green flag about to be back out on the field, Biggles, we're about to get back underway.
Yep, Barney again. Been busy. 9th caution. Let's see if we can get 16 to go. Under green. Over to you.
Green flag back in the air. Great jump there by Scott Formosa. Jake Ellingson going to clear into that 2nd spot as well. Side by side for 3rd. Keith Haney and George Jewell. It's Jewell up top, Haney down on the inside. They're going to single file out now all through the top 5. We're seeing Zach Angle losing a couple spots there just outside the top 10, falling back to the 14th position. Just making sure everyone going to stay clean, stay green here. Lanford gets ahead of Lynch. Brown and Knight's going to swap a couple spots. 3 wide just about towards the rear. Michael McCarthy and Tyler Brown going to come together. The one of Adam Wilson there as well. But up at the front of the field, Biggles, it's Scott Formosa, Jake Ellingson, Keith Haney, Mike George, and George Jewell. The top 5 is here comes Ellingson to the inside of Formosa. Side by side for the race lead with 14 laps to go. Jake Ellingson down to the inside. He's going to clear to the top spot. Here comes Haney as well.
It's because of the tires. Scotty boxed back at lap 42. That's it. He's struggling big time. This is 14 to go. Jake's come green to the end here. And I think Scotty's had to hold on tight here because it's going to be a massive pressure there. It doesn't look like much if you're looking lap 57 to 42, but at this level of speed here at Texas, my friend, It's huge. He's got to try to hold on tight here to get a nice P5 position at best there. But has Keith got enough pace there to hunt down Jake for the win?
One thing to point out here is even if we do get another caution, I don't know that Scott Formosa pits. These drivers only had 4 sets of tires available tonight. And with all the cautions we've had, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody accidentally took too many sets of tires. Formosa has been down pit road 3 times. So that could be 3 additional sets of tires used, leaving him with nothing in the pit area. He's about to lose another spot now to Mike George. George looks to the inside. They're going to be side by side. George in the jungle, George in Texas, and George into P3.
Yeah, George got the job done. I thought at the moment there that Scott had a little bit more pace as to get the slipstream. It was perfect. And, you know, he's not out yet. Scott is coming back.
No,
but,
absolutely not.
The tires are just letting him down. His pace is there, but it just doesn't have the grip. He's got to hold off the Jewel of Jewel Crowns at the moment. And I don't know, he can hold off George Jewel very long, my friend, because there you go. At the moment,
wow.
is Avery Jewel on the rampage of the future? We'll find out right now.
Biggles, I don't know if you saw this, but look at the tail of the top 10. Robert Barber is back into the 9th position now.
Oh.
On this restart, we're only 4 laps from the restart, 5 laps from the restart, and he restarted 23rd, and he's in position number 9. So Robert Barber on an absolute tear right now. Don't know that he's going to have enough time to get back up there, but if we get another restart, watch for him to definitely be one of those guys to contend for this victory at the end. But up front, Jake Ellingson continues to lead the way. Johnny Cofield going to take it to pit road. Haney about to be under fire here from Mike George. So George on a bit of a mission here tonight in that 3rd spot in the 29 car. 9 laps to go. So getting down to the closing stages of this one. The curtain about to fall on the field. There's a battle for 20th towards the rear. Tyler Brown, Colton Lanford, but we'll stay up front. This battle for 2nd continues to heat up just behind them as well. George Jewell holding off Scott Formosa, who is trying to hold off Jake Ham, and Ham under fire from Craig Bontrager. So a couple of battles inside the top 10 to keep an eye on here.
Traffic.
With 8 to go as we're catching up. That's the 76 machine of Mark Holyfield Sr. He's going to go 1 lap down. That was not the best of spots right there. Heading into turn number 1, it kind of closes up just a little bit. Nearly contact between some of the leaders and the Holyfield Sr. number 76 machine. Luckily is able to get up and out of the way as the rest of the lead cars go on by. Jake Ham, Craig Bontrager down to the inside of him. But up front, Jake Ellingson has done a good job here tonight. Gained 8 spots on the night and has the top position currently held by himself. But Haney and George definitely not out of this one yet. And looking at it, Keith Haney just a little bit quicker than Jake Ellingson right now. In very marginal gaps between 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in regards to the speed.
You called it, Robert, to seek your fantastic assistance here. You've been doing this a lot longer than I have, my friend. I think at the moment Mike and Keith are somehow working together there because they are slowly crawling in Jake. They smell blood in the racetrack, and of course that blood means the top step of the podium in this case. Jake is doing his absolute best, but when Keith and Mike it's a push together, right? As you know, that's a push. They are giving each other a little bit of a slipstream, a little bit of momentum guide here at the moment. So whether or not Mike's going to want to help Keith get this P1 victory, or are they going to just all snap it? With 6 to go there, Jake still has that nice little advantage. You're talking about half a second advantage. I don't know if this is going to be continuing to work together at the moment to try to steal this one away. Jake's got to focus forward and don't focus backwards, and his hope is to get into a bit of a tangle or not. George Gill a little bit further down the road, 1 second and change there. George will be going, okay, you guys just bit it into the fence there, and I'll take that P2 victory any day of the week. Jake leading.
2nd and 3rd of Haney and George, about a 1/2 of a tenth quicker last time by than Jake Ellingson. If you do the math, it would make it so that they're side by side with the leader coming to the finish line. But Jake Ellingson, one of those guys that really knows how to pick it up just that extra step when needed to work his way up towards that front spot and continue to pull away from these guys. And that gap now 0.4 of a second. As last time by, they basically all ran the exact same time. This changes everything. It's fan favorite Wesley Lynch around.
No. Well, 4 to go.
No.
We're not going to win it in the caution, are we?
I hope we have a restart.
Yes, we don't want to end it under a caution. And as you said, Wesley Lynch, right? Let's find out what happened here.
Yeah, Wesley Lynch going to be involved in this caution. I see the 9 of Michael McCarthy behind him, and Michael McCarthy turns himself into the Wesley Lynch machine. 2 cars become 1 there. Lynch slides up the racetrack. Not huge contact with the outside wall there, so he should be able to continue on, maybe come down, grab a set of tires. Position definitely out the window here for Wesley Lynch, but what's going to be key here, Biggles, is when we get to 2 to go, will that ticker update to indicate 3 to go? Because that will show us that we're going to have a green, white checker.
It just did. I think it says 3 to go, right? Or did you say 2 to go, 3 to go? Oh, you're right. I mean, you know more than me. That's what
we'll see this time. It's still showing naturally 3 to go, but we're going to come to the line. We'll see Barney the Flagman. His arms got hurt by the end of the night, man. Luckily, he's virtual. Otherwise, he's going to need to go to a massage therapist. There we go. So we have 2 attempts at a green-white checkered here tonight, as you just saw 2, well, actually 3 tick into 3 once again. So Scott Formosa coming down pit road, Zach Angle, Brandon Wallace, Colton Lanford, Stephen Bartlett, and Dustin Hardy, in addition to Wesley Lynch, Alan Marshall, and company. So up front, Jake Ellingson, Keith Haney, Mike George, George Jewell, and Jake Ham. That's the top 5. Craig Bontrager, Robert Barber. Keep that name in mind here, folks. He's going to restart 7th, and he is on a mission in this last handful lap. Sam Milliken, David Calvert, and Timothy Wilms round out the top 10. I don't think I've said Wilms' name even once aside from the opening grid here tonight. He started 10th. He's currently running 10th with 3 laps to go.
You call it there for the Guza Racing, 86. There are some drivers we never mentioned, and then silently towards the end, right, they get the job done. So that's what you want to be sometimes.
It's a way to do it.
Quiet driver. But as you mentioned, we'll have a short commercial break once again for the very last time this evening. And we forgot about a pole sitter. So really quickly, if we go back to our pole sitter, that was who was our pole sitter again? Let's remind everybody in the chat.
Craig Bontrager.
Craig, all right,
in the
Craig's,
49.
There he is. Craig, of course, was our pole award. That's the Big Fish Barbecue pole award. I didn't show
good.
that one earlier. Tasty,
Let's
isn't it?
Let's get some barbecue, brother.
And he's got a bit of work to do there, but he is still quick, my friend, because you don't get yourself on pole position around Texas if you're not quick. But if you want to be quick, what racing setups do you need to use? Find out right now.
Are you ready?
And we are back here. The energy of the field absolutely lighting up the night sky right there. It's Jake Ellingson and Keith Haney going to be on the front row this time. Mike George and George Jewell going to make up row number 2. We should be coming to the 1 to green this time by. We got Jeff Milliken over in the YouTube chat saying, "Come on, 77." To the front we go. That's Sam Milliken. He's going to restart in position number 8, Biggles. So up on the high side, that's not a bad spot to be. Only 4 rows back from that race leader. So an opportunity potentially for Sam Milliken to get up there and have something to say to these leaders. And again, if they come together, which we've had some contact tonight, believe it or not, as we're working caution number 10. It's quite possible that something could happen ahead of him, and Sam Milliken able to just sneak through and snag this victory. The yellow flag standing straight here. That indicates 1 lap to green. We're going to go green next time by Jake Ellingson and Keith Haney on the front row. Biggles, I'm going to ask you this. Is there somebody up here at the front that you think has the best shot to pick up the victory here on green, white checkered attempt number 1?
Well, I have to favor Jake because I love the Ellison family, and of course, if there's one and not just Shazza out there that's also supporting, her family, her peers and so forth, her husband actually. But it's Ray. Ray puts a lot in behind, and you know, they say behind every great man is a great woman. That's what it is. There's great women out here, my friend. And they're supporting their drivers, they're supporting their family members, they're supporting their husbands and partners. So, I mean, for Jake, I would like this race. And of course, it's also for Doug out there who's watching. And Doug, of course, you know, is not in the best, under the weather, and Doug is getting better. And wouldn't it be proud? Wouldn't a son make his father proud to win this one? I'm sorry,
and one
I'm a little
little
favoritism on that one.
No, you're good. And one little strategy call I see right here, and I'm sure you're seeing it as well, Biggles. Jake Ellingson opting to take the high lane ahead of George Jewell on this restart. So got to wonder if maybe there's some communication there to get Jewell cleared of Haney on the inside. As the green flag's out, we're back underway. Great jump by Ellingson. Great jump by Jewell as well. They're going to be side by side for position number 2. Jewell with the advantage. Now to the inside comes Mike George. We're going to go 3 wide potentially there for the second spot. Jewell on the high side. Haney in the middle. Here comes George down on the inside. Next flag they're hoping to see is the white flag as Haney with a crossover looking to the inside of George. George going to block that one off as they work their way into turn number 3. I saw carnage behind, I do believe, but no, we are able to continue on, and the white flag going to be out this time. 1 lap to go for Jake Ellingson.
Get it done, Jake. Get it done, my friend. And I think he's got enough gap there at the moment, as long as he's not making mistakes at the moment. There's a big wreck. 3 wide. 3 wide in the background. Keep out for George Jewell at the moment. We can hear excitement over there. But more excitement had to come from the family from Milwaukee getting it done there. And I can hear Ray out there getting absolutely super excited. Only a few more corners. Only a few more miles to go. And guess what? Jake has done it. Has Jake done it there?
Checkered flag. It's going to be Jake Ellingson taking it here at Texas. Mike George in second. Keith Haney in third. George Jewell going to bring it home fourth. And rounding out the top 5 going to be Robert Barber. What a drive there by Jake Ellingson tonight. Started 9th. Going to come home in position number 1. You can see the checkered flag absolutely waving there as Jake Ellingson going to come around and celebrate victory here tonight. Great drive by the rest of the field to bring this one home under green flag conditions. But Ellingson, Biggles, about to burn it down in the 27.
Oh, you'd be burning it down for everybody. Veterans for Life Foundation, of course, the 27 machine. His family, his father, his mother, and everybody that he supports in this fantastic racing league. Jake, you've done it, my friend. You've got it done. Brilliant. It's lovely to see. And don't take it away from the rest of the drivers, but you know, at some point, you deserve it, and my friend, you've got it.
Taking a look at the results tonight, it is the Goat Locker Racing ARCA Series presented by INvets. Top 5, Jake Ellingson, Mike George, Keith Haney, George Jewell, and Robert Barber. Just outside the top 10 is where we find Jake Hammond 6th. Craig Bontrager brings it home 7th. Timothy Williams with a nice run into position number 8. Sam Milliken in that 9th spot. Rounding up the top 10 is David Calvert, Mike McCarthy in 11th, Mickey Isaac in 12th, James Kaufman 13th, Scott Formosa in the 14th spot tonight. Adam Wilson brings it home 15th. Zach Engel 16th. Cameron Wesenberg in 17th. Dustin Hardy in that 18th spot. Biggles, as we continue to look our way through the field. 19th tonight is Matt Knights, followed by Colton Lanford rounding out the top 20. Brandon Wallace 21st, Stephen Bartlett 22nd, Chase Jaggers 23rd. The strategy unfortunately did not work for Jaggers at the end. Going to bring it home 23rd. Mark Holyfield Sr. 24th, Timothy Jones 25th, Alan Marshall 26th, Tyler Brown 27th, Wesley Lynch in that 28th spot, unfortunately out on that final wreck. Chris Smith in 29th, Johnny Cofield 30th, John Anthony 31st, Corey Bowman 32nd, Dustin Harrell in 33rd, and Jason Kraft in 34th. Round out our 34 starters here tonight.
So I think it's time to take a little bit of a breather. Let's get the drivers a bit of a breather. Of course, we'll get them into the waiting room to have a bit of a chat there. So take your, let's say relief break, as we're going to take a relief break to the Cruising Classics, of course. And I'll tell you what, if you want some Cruising Classics machines, we were speaking about before in the green room, isn't it? Check out these machines that you would like in your garage. Don't go anywhere.
And we are back here at the Texas Motor Speedway, getting started here with our NRE Power post-race interviews, joined by the third place finisher, Keith Haney, here tonight. Keith, you seem to have a great car there at the end, just was not able to get up to the 27 of Ellingson at the end. Why don't you walk us through your race, and what more did you need to get up there and steal that top spot?
Oh man, it was a great race. Had a lot of fun. I don't really think I had anything for Jake tonight, in particular. If anything, I could have used maybe a little longer run, and that could have maybe suited me a little better. But I still don't think that I would have came out on top.
It definitely looked like you had a good run. Obviously, finishing third, that's a great day. You were able to dodge most of the incidents out there. What was the toughest challenge that you had to deal with from start to finish here tonight?
I think just not being able to get in a good groove there. There at the end of the race was awesome. If we could have got that in the beginning, I think I could have learned a little bit more. I think just not really having enough green flag time to figure out what I was doing wrong.
Yeah, definitely tough when you can't really get into that rhythm, Keith. And of course, we saw that throughout the evening. Looking ahead, though, on the schedule, we're going to head to the Stafford Speedway next week. What's your outlook for that one? Do you think maybe you got a shot to stand on the top step of the podium?
Man, I gotta go ahead and get in the seat on that one, guys. I'm not very familiar with that track. I do have it, and I have ran some laps there, but I'm definitely not as good there as I am here. So I got my work cut out for me.
Definitely going to be a much different race than what we saw here at Texas. But Keith, any shout outs from you? Any sponsors you want to thank?
Yes, sir, guys. I want to thank you guys in the booth for sure for putting on a heck of a broadcast. I love going and watching these things. I keep up with all you guys' races. I love watching you guys. Glad to be here. Um, just everybody in the league in general. I appreciate you guys. You have to forgive me. I'm on the road tonight, doing a little bit of work away from home, so I'm not racing on my normal computer, and it'll probably be like that for the next 2 weeks. So you guys just forgive me during the summer series. The summer series is kind of got me on the road, but I kind of break the ice at the end of the day being able to come home and race with you guys. But unfortunately, I'm on a laptop tonight, so I'm sorry for not being able to reach out to the sponsors
Wow.
that usually run this thing.
Sorry, are you kidding me? You're on a laptop and you just come in there. I'll tell you what, Robert, can you call Max Verstappen and get that private jet sent over there, and we'll get a full racing rig on that plane?
Yeah,
and
I'll
pick
give him
him
a
up?
call.
Hey, man, I
Wow.
wouldn't have finished no better on anything different, to be honest.
That's pretty impressive, though, that you're able to come home third on different equipment. And I'm going to ask you here, how tough is it to adapt to different racing equipment than what you're used to?
Well, this is what I started out on. So it's kind of like home away from home in a
It's
way.
familiar territory.
Yeah, for sure, because I've got a lot of hours on it. I do got a 3 monitor setup at home that I will be running on. Probably in the beginning of July, I should be back that way. So I don't know if it'll make me any better, but we'll see.
Well, Keith, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight. And we look forward to seeing what you have in store for us at Stafford next week.
Thanks, brothers. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now moving on to the second place finisher, Mike George. Mike, your night, I think, was a little bit more eventful than that of Keith Haney. You had a couple of incidents take place around you throughout the night. Why don't you walk us through your evening?
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty slow to start with. Getting in the groove was hard. It's pretty hard to get the gist of things when there's a caution every couple laps. But I know people gave it their hardest, and that's all you can ask for. But luckily, we were able to get some green flag runs in. Um, Able to chase Jake down. He's the master of this track. It's one of his favorite tracks out there. Um, just a blessing to be racing with you guys.
And you mentioned trying to race down Jake Ellingson, who eventually, of course, took the victory tonight. What more did you feel that you needed to get up there and take that top spot away from him? Or do you think second was the absolute best that you could have done tonight?
Well, honestly, if that yellow flag didn't come out, I know me and Keith were chasing him down a little bit there. Trying to work together and hopefully close some distance on him. But that's how racing is. And hey, I'll take second.
Could I cut in for a
Absolutely.
second? Sorry,
Yeah,
Robert.
go for it, Biggles.
I was going to say, I said that in the broadcast, didn't I? I said that we're working together, didn't I? Robert?
You did indeed, and you could tell because they weren't necessarily battling each other for second. Which, when you're trying to chase down the leader, you don't really want to slow each other down. And I'm sure that's what Mike and Keith were both thinking as well. It's maybe work together temporarily to try to gain that spot on Jake Ellingson. But Mike, I'm going to ask you now as well. I asked Keith as well. What's your outlook for Stafford next week? Do you think maybe you got a shot at taking the victory there?
Well, I'm kind of in the same boat as Keith. I've only ran just minute amount of laps as some of these guys have. I've really been in iRacing for not that long, so some of these tracks are kind of new for me. But I'll be taking the seat, be doing a lot of practicing, and hopefully I can give Jake a run for his money the next race.
And I think Jake would absolutely welcome the opportunity to battle it out with you for that race win. But Mike, before we let you go here tonight, any sponsors you want to thank, shout outs you want to give for putting that 29 machine out on the racetrack?
Yeah, of course. You guys have been fantastic. You guys broadcast for Gold Locker. I've been racing for a handful of times. It's been a pleasure on that. But yeah, Lincoln Tech, INvets, Relevant Sound, Jam Printing and Promotions, Cruising Classics, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Veterans for Life Foundation. These guys are great. They're out there for vets, military, service personnel. Right Now Roofing, Alexander PCs, In Motion, Next Level Racing. Let's not forget iRacing, of course. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. And Big Fish Barbecue.
Well, Mike, congratulations on the runner-up finish here tonight, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Stafford.
I appreciate it, guys. Looking forward to being there.
Should be a good one. Now moving on to our race winner here tonight, Jake Ellingson. Jake, you started 9th, coming home in that top spot. Walk us through your night here tonight at Texas.
Yeah, it was just it was kind of a rough one trying to pick my way up through the field with the cautions and stuff. So it was kind of a little bit difficult in that sense. But as soon as we got some good, green flag racing in, really just trying to save that right front tire and keeping it low coming out of 2, I think was the key of everything.
How tough is it as one of the front runners here tonight to really get into a rhythm when that caution flag just continues to fly throughout the event?
It's very nerve wracking because you don't know if you're going to be in one of them cautions or not. But we ended up making things work and being in the right places at the right time. So.
And I'm going to ask you about that final restart. Most of the night we saw the leader opt to take the inside, but on that final start, you decided, I'm going to go up top. I'm going to start in front of George Jewell. Why don't you walk us through that thought process and maybe give us some insight as to why you opted to take the high side?
I knew where I was going to start in the restart zone, so I wanted to have that. So I knew I would have had that jump, and I wanted to have that long arc going into 1 to try to carry my speed out of 2. And I think that's what my saving grace was, because them 2 guys behind me were just phenomenal racers. And Mike George, he's only been on the service for a few months, and he's bad fast. And I think with a little bit of coaching and stuff, he's going to be definitely a front runner. So I'm just happy I got the jump that I did.
Yeah, definitely impressive what those 2 behind you did tonight, and great thought process, taking the high side, knowing where you were going to go, what you needed to get the job done. I'm going to throw it over to Biggles because I'm sure he's got a question or 2 for you. He was quite excited when you crossed that finish line in the top spot.
Well, I'm actually speechless at the moment there, Jake. So, but yeah, no, it's because the family is really supported as well too, and Dougie and everybody behind. You put a lot into, Jake, of course. Fantastic Goat Locker Racing series, as well as all the series here that we present on NASRA. So it's good to see you get that win, my friend. It's so much hard work, and I didn't realize that the other drivers were saying, this is Jake's track. And it is your track. I didn't realize that if it was your track, my friend, usually the drivers are, putting that 27 baby on pole. But you'd I'll start back and 8 positions later on and get it done towards the end when it counts. Sure, your mum out there's proud. She could let us know. And your dad's proud as well too. And I hope to see your dad and wish him well. And his little adventures, unfortunately, that have gone through there. But I'm sure that the old pop star is getting it a big proud for you, my friend. And it takes energy, and a lot of work, doesn't it, to get the job done? You got it done. How does it feel?
Definitely. We do. I couldn't be more supportive of what GLR does, for not only for in the league itself, but what they're doing outside of the league to help veterans and first responders. Jamie and Pat have done so much for all these guys, and we're continuing to try to do more than just what we do. And really, I can't say enough about them two guys. I mean, they're just the class of people that you want to be around.
And on top of my friend, the INvets this season as well too, as a big sponsor there, the Go Locking, as you said, just assistance to our nation's warriors and all that. It make you proud, of course, to represent.
Oh, definitely. We got quite a few sponsors that help us out, and that we're all proud of, and a couple of them, Lincoln Tech, INvets, Relevant Sound, Jam Printing and Promotions, which has been there from the very beginning of Goat Locker, Cruising Classics, that's been around for quite a few seasons. They do an amazing job, sponsoring us, and then doing things outside of just sponsoring. They're going to events and stuff, and helping out where they can, spreading the word. The Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs, they gave us a substantial grant to give away sim rigs, for vets. Veterans for Life Foundation. They do amazing things, for veterans in and of itself. They provide affordable housing for veterans. Right Now Roofing, they're veteran owned, and they're based out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Alexander PCs is also a veteran owned company, which they actually built our PC for the mobile sim rig, which gets debuted next week Saturday. Super stoked for that. Can't wait for that. Sim Motion, they're a partner of GLR's that they provide all the parts and stuff for the mobile sim and all the sim rigs that given away. Next Level Racing, iRacing, Big Fish Barbecue. I think I'm probably forgetting a couple more, but we got a lot of partners and sponsors that help us out, and I can't thank them enough for jumping on board and helping out GLR. And then V Speed for broadcasting a few series, and then Nazareth 360 for coming back for the summer series. You guys do an amazing job. I think the boss man's going to put me to work a little bit on Monday nights with you guys, so we'll see where that leads to.
Jacob, I think you thanked all your sponsors as well as everybody else that contributes so much to it. So we thank you, my friend, for your race win. 8 positions gained there for the 27 machine, putting all the effort in behind the scenes, that mentioning behind the scenes that goes on. And remember too, these are non-profit organizations, everybody out there. So hit the like and subscribe and find out all the information. Join the leagues there. Be a part of it. Even if you're not a race driver like myself, all right? Get up there and in the booth there. Help out behind the scenes there. It's a lot of fun. We have people helping out behind the scenes. We have family members out there. We have wives. We have mothers. We have even... I even said a dingo in there slapping some keys one time there, didn't I there, Robert? Getting
you did
behind
indeed,
there.
yes.
So, yeah, over to you. Thank you, Jacob. Congratulations, my friend. It's been an
Thank you.
honor to broadcast you getting your race win here.
That was Jake Ellingson, your winner here tonight, Biggles. And that's just about going to do it for us here from the Texas Motor Speedway. Once again, next week we'll be back at the Stafford Speedway for round number 3 of the season. Should be a good one there. And of course, tune in tomorrow night, Thursday, for the Summer Series Trucks from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's going to be Jacob Reeves alongside yourself for that one. So it should be a great show there. Once again, thanks to the folks at INvets for presenting our great summer series here tonight. You see all the other sponsors there on the screen. Scan that QR code, check out INvets, see what you can do to help support them as well. Because, of course, being a nonprofit and being one of those groups that does so much for the veterans of the United States of America, it's always a great opportunity to give back where you can. But Biggles, I think that's just about going to wrap it up for us here tonight. So on behalf of Brady LaBeouf and the Nazar 360 Racing Network, on behalf of Dean Biggles Hopton, our great producer and co-commentator here tonight, my name is Robert Hill Jr. We thank all of you for joining us here for Flag to Flag coverage of round number 2 of the series from the Texas Motor Speedway, and we'll see you next week at Stafford. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah.